In 2022, 75% of the digital transformation projects failed because of tech challenges.
Hi, welcome to Actionable. I'm your podcast host, Michael Magda. And with me today in our majlis is a very special guest. His name is Michele Cimmino, an entrepreneur, an agile software developer, and a person with really big passion for digital transformation. And we're here to discuss his history, his story, and why he came to the UAE to explore the next business opportunity. So Michele, welcome to our majlis.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Great. So tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, I'm a software engineer and an entrepreneur. I've been working in the IT industry for more than 10 years now. I'm the owner of Lasting Dynamics Group. That is a group of several companies that stay in the digital field, tech field. But we also now have a real estate company and education related activities. And yeah, we are a group of more of 100 people at the moment.
Fantastic, fantastic. And how did Lasting Dynamics come to life?
Wow, so it is a long journey. It started when I was 21, probably. I was in the university. I actually started the coding when I was 16. And at the 17th, I was owner of a video game, an online web-based platform that had 1,000 users concurrently connected every night. It was a video game. It was one of the early stage projects that I had. Then probably that was the moment in which my passion started, you know, for the technology and the coding, the software in general. When I was 21. I decided to start freelancing. I was aggregating people in the university, trying to make them understand that in that historical moment of Italy, there was an alternative path to the common one followed by all of my colleagues in the university that were looking for summer jobs, side jobs, you know, to continue their studies. And our idea was to find the projects, international projects, and then provide a very high-end product, you know, good quality to our first customers. That was the start of everything. I would say that how it happened is that I started to create an identity online through various platforms, of course also on LinkedIn. And what happened there is that I started to find the first projects, you know. So the first project I remember was €500 only. The second one was 1,000, 7,000, 60,000. Then it went to $100,000. And I remember that at that moment, I truly understood that there was a problem in the tech industry, that the tech industry somehow was broken. Too many cheap solution providers that were actually not really educated to the software engineering process, providing a lot of frustration to the final customers by, of course, burning their budgets and wasting their time. So I said, okay, well, probably Lasting Dynamics needs to be the place where we can make things happen for real. Okay, so simple concept. Focus on the quality and deliver the project to our customers, making them enjoy the process. You know, so they started to sit with us, become a part of the journey, understand how to organize an agile structure to succeed, and it's now very common after many years that our customers, after only 2-3 months starting collaborating with us, they are really surprised by the idea that we actually deliver and with a very good quality and customer experience, and they started to invest more and more into the projects with us. That's where everything started. And in terms of timeline, 2013 was when I started my freelancing activities. Then 2015 when I opened the first LLC in Italy. 2019 I started also to invest in other startups by shares. 2020 I opened in Norway and Spain, and then last year we arrived to the Emirates and opened in Dubai.
Thank you for sharing that. And so walk me through the process today. Mm-hmm. So I have a business idea, or I'm a business unit in some sort of enterprise, and
Yeah.
we come up with an idea, and we would want to work with lasting dynamics.
Yes.
How do we go about it?
What we do is nesting the classic early stage discovery phase of the canonical software engineering with agile methodologies practices. Okay, so we start very commonly from the requirements collection. It's very important in the first phase to dedicate time to the customer, no matter if that will become a project, or not for Lasting Dynamics. They have a problem, and we want to listen to their problem. We want to understand their challenges or their ideas, because most of the time they come with the innovative ideas, that they want to try to implement and ship to the market. So we analyze the requirements, understand on which requirements we should focus the most, keeping a very exquisite agile approach and MVP-oriented mindset. So the MVP is the minimum viable product. That is not to be confused with a prototype. MVP is not a prototype. MVP is a working product that will go on the market as soon as possible with the minimum amount of functionality and features, so that the customer could collect and accrue new feedback. That feedback is data collection that then is analyzed and leads the customer to make right decisions. So everything started from the software analysis. Then what we do is propose the solution with a formal technical proposal. And when we start working together, we immediately tap in the very early stage, the product ownership and the UI UX design. The product owners helps the customer understanding what are the requirements we should focus on, how to transform them into milestones for OKRs or user stories for Scrum, etc. And then with the UI UX designers, we start to develop mock-ups, user flows, wireframes that could be used to compose the user stories and the milestones and make them readable, usable by a tech team. So we transform requirements, higher level requirements, into actions that could be taken, that the tech team could take. And that is how everything starts. Then we iterate 2 weeks into weeks usually, create the staging environment since the start, because we want to test a lot. We want to make sure that the testing process is part of the quality that we want to deliver. So that the customer receives always almost bugs-free solutions, and they do just on a higher level user acceptance validation, so that they feel satisfied. Eventually they want to change something, we can tweak it, we can reanalyze a bit the requirements, until the very moment in which we are ready for the market with the MVP. And then we go online and we maintain and develop more the product.
Right. If I was to summarize that, you take a complex business problem,
Yes.
you translate it in a way that developers would understand how to use it, break it down into milestones and OKRs, develop the MVP, and then schedule like continuous distribution over the next year.
Yes.
And
Michael, it is very common that the collaboration becomes very long term. Because if you succeed in the very early stage by choosing the right tech stack, by terraforming appropriately the project, then what happens is that the only variable in the equation that you have to solve is marketing. The tech is working. And when the tech is working, then you keep rolling out the features. Potentially, the final end user that is using the system is satisfied, and there is still need of development. So development is endless. Potentially, and this is also why I don't like to talk about maintenance. Maintenance is a very legacy concept in the IT industry. It doesn't really exist in Agile.
Gotcha. What are some of the challenges that a software development company could face?
Most of the time is instructing an educated process to succeed. That's it. And it is not easy. It's extremely complex. Of course, there are a lot of agile methodologies out of there, or there are a lot of technologies that could be beneficial to innovate, to start a project, to construct a solid product. But there is also software architecture, design pattern, team collaboration. That is, the communication is the biggest challenge, in every industry. Individually, you could be a very senior profile with a lot of experience, but in a team, potentially, you might not perform as an individual. That is so simple to understand. The tech companies face majorly the problem of not having a structure, an agile structure, and they are not probably structured to learn down the road, to fail and learn from the failure. And this is also why Lasting Dynamics in the first 2-3 years was focusing only on this. I didn't even think about revenues. I didn't even think about the profit. Revenues, yes, because I had to make this sustainable, but a profit, not really. And we were focusing on investing more, performing retrospectives, process evaluation constantly to tweak our methodology to succeed. The other thing that I see is a big problem is that some tech companies pretend to start the hiring process only when they catch a project. That is completely wrong, because of course you do not have a culture in that case. You don't have the people, you don't know the people, they didn't work together that much. So that is, and how we solved these challenges with academies. So we have local academies, online academies, and we train roughly 200 people per year that then we hire or that we propose to our partners. And what happens in that case is that they spend a lot of time into the academy to learn the basics and the most important aspects to be part of Lasting Dynamics. Then they work in our internal projects, and after usually some years of experience, they become good consultants that can participate into the agile composition for our customers.
Very, very, very well put together. It's a very structured process. And what are some of the systems or mental models that you use to manage 3 international offices?
That was one of the biggest discoveries, probably 2015, of Lasting Dynamics. A lot of people still prefer synchronous communication and interaction. So they want to do a meeting for everything. That doesn't work in the IT industry. It doesn't work. It's so simple. So how do you solve that problem? It is already solved, actually. Solutions are on the market from many years. You have to minimize the synchronous interaction. That is important for other reasons. Probably we can get back to this topic later. But maximize the asynchronous interaction by using tools and practices in that direction. So I'm going to make you some examples. We have a workflow management system, Roundrush. We built it on our own, but of course we can use Jira, Asana, several others, that are on the market to organize the workflow. And then the people in Lasting Dynamics are trained to succeed in that direction. How do we deconstruct a requirement into OKRs, objective and key results? You can do it on the platform. Then how do you execute with a Kanban board from Kanban methodology? And how do you visualize and synchronize? How do you perform quality assurance using that board? What are the best practices to maximize the production? Can you actually move a task in ready for review for another teammate without opening a pull request? No. Then there is an automation that blocks that. So we have a lot of practices and tools that help us coordinating the team across the globe, because Lasting Dynamics is quite wide at the moment. We have people from different countries, from different cultures, and of course we communicate quite a lot through instant messaging applications. We also have regular meetings, and we leverage a lot the workflow management systems to succeed.
Has the OKR system helped you, as Michele, manage the international operation in any way?
It changed my life, actually. I didn't even know that there was a methodology called objective and key results initially. I studied it later and discovered it, but initially, empirically, I was applying it because I wanted to achieve big goals. And I never believed the idea that you cannot, just because eventually you are not ready, or I always wanted to arrive to the goals. And so in my room, initially what I was doing was breaking down these big problems into key results, into smaller goals that I could achieve. And just by visualizing the problem, I was starting to solve it. Because most of the people do not take an action because they feel it's impossible. Well, instead, for me, it was not impossible. It was just, okay, how do I arrive to the moon? I have to train myself in this, in that, and blah, blah, blah. And then I started to break it down in this way and execute. So it is important to visualize, have a plan, and then quickly execute. Learn more, analyze what you learned, and then reorganize the key results so that you could execute again. And I was always doing this process until the moment in which I was catching my goals. I transferred this into Round Rush and into the set of agile methodologies that Lasting Dynamics uses today. And to answer your question, yes, of course, OKRs is one of the keys.
So, this real estate, I got to ask you about this project.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds to me like the reason why you built this was to show your customers how you could use cutting-edge technology in a business case.
Yeah.
Why did you create it?
Yeah, you're right. You're actually right, because when it comes to Vetrina Live, our SaaS platform, software as a service platform for e-commerce, we built it initially for showing our customers that we understand the industry, we can solve tech problems in that direction, and we built a whole platform that now serves thousands of customers in production. Round Rush was for the agile industry, and the real estate is actually another field where we are now competing. Everything starts from a simple problem. We wanted to start to acquire this kind of assets, first of all. But we also wanted to bring our digital and tech mindset into an industry that is old and it works, but it's always the same. So
right. And we all know how real estate has performed in the past century. It's been one of the best investment classes.
Absolutely. But is there any next step to take in that direction? Probably yes. Now, thanks to the blockchain technology. And the idea here was to apply the digital transformation on the ground directly. So we invested out of our pocket. We acquired the first building in Canary Islands that has 25 apartments, one big commercial area, one rooftop. And we started to create digital shares, NFTs, for the whole building that could be exchanged on online marketplace. This is interesting because it democratizes a bit the market, giving the opportunity to everyone to invest into this field. So it really opens the door for new investors in this direction.
Gotcha. And yeah, I mean, getting into real estate is a difficult thing.
Yes.
It requires a lot of money, and it's a very legacy system. I think you guys have reinvented it, and I think the reason why you did this is to show your customers how you work.
It technically solves another problem, that is bureaucracy and paperwork. Because at the moment, if you want to buy an apartment or an office, then you have to go to the notary. The notary you have to perform a deed, sign, says, so you are physically involved. There is a barrier in that direction. How do you invest internationally into something that is located in the other side of the world? Can be through the blockchain technology, and this is the project that we are developing, and in the upcoming years we hopefully will become bigger and bigger.
And hopefully we get to see this, seeing the whole industry change into a full digital. So industries go through digital transformation. Mm-hmm. What are some of the challenges the industry could face?
Well, McKinsey says that in 2022, 75% of the digital transformation projects failed because of tech challenges. Okay. So one of the biggest challenges is the tech part. I've been working with large enterprises for a while, and I see a pattern. I recognize a pattern. They have too many vendors, and that is something that from their perspective I understand. They want to try to reduce the risk, mitigate the risk. But on the other side, it creates a very big challenge. A lot of different teams that cannot coordinate with each other to succeed, because they come from different methodologies, different quality standards. different communication practices. And then what is the result is that these projects iterate up to the moment in which they either fail or consume too much budget and somehow do not go in the expected direction. So that is one of the challenges that are happening in the digital transformation. Another thing is understand the technology, because I'm sorry to say that I still hear a lot of people talking about a matter that they do not fully understand.
Right.
So when it comes to implement that, then it is a disaster, because they try to discover it down the road, and that is quite annoying and frustrating for the final customer and for the whole ecosystem of the project. So I would stick with the idea that there is still a big percentage of projects that probably have a wrong business idea, or I wouldn't even say wrong, eventually something that could not be predicted, but a failing because of tech, for me, is unacceptable.
Right. Okay, so you picked Dubai.
Yes.
For your next flagship or your next business expansion. Why the UAE?
The most exciting part of this journey is that most of the time countries deal with the average problems, while here the government talks about really innovative topics in the tech industry. The metaverse is one of those challenges, those topics that excites us the most, as far as, of course, the adoption of the blockchain and the non-fungible tokens, the artificial intelligence. I would say that the most interesting part of this journey for me is still the tech and all the projects that we are now getting in touch with, that definitely keep alimenting that fire inside of us,
right,
in the idea of keep succeeding, but potentially also in very innovative new challenges. So that's it.
So the government is pushing the envelope by creating new tech challenges for people like yourself to solve, and this is primarily what excites you to be here.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the projects that you've done on an international scale?
An interesting one is a project in the neuroscience field. What we did there is pretty much, it's a digital transformation. We can define it like that. That industry is stuck with the very old systems, still desktop applications that became a legacy, cannot be even used on the modern operating systems. Implement old algorithms, take a lot of time in order to compute certain information, are not centralized at all, so they definitely allow neuroscientists to work only on their machine, and then sharing information with other neuroscientists is not possible, it's not viable. Yeah. Exactly. So most of the neuroscientists are working concurrently on the same thing, and they cannot collaborate to speed up the process. This is a customer from USA, a partner that has been working with us for more than 3 years now, and we developed a cloud platform where neuroscientists could collaborate. There is an AI that allows to speed up at least 10 times the process of curating the data. That is really smart, because neuroscientists spend at least 6 months just to sanitize the data before they could process them. The platform also puts at the disposal of the customers a fully decentralized system, and allows them to run the latest algorithm, like the sorting algorithm on the data. I'm mentioning this because we literally had to study MIT books in order to jump into this project, and it was a turnkey solution. So we have been giving UI/UX design, software development, quality assurance, project management, and so. Another very interesting one is our partner in Singapore and Hong Kong. FWD is one of the most important famous insurance companies in the world. they literally reinvented the insurance by creating a new engagement module that serves the final user with mini games to interact with. There is a whole gamification module, information for vaccines and other health assessment electronically by using artificial intelligence and face recognition tools. It is very great. It is succeeding at 360 degrees. At the moment, there are more than 3 million users in production.
Wow, wow, wow. Where do you see AI in the next 18 months?
I think it's speeding up faster than what anyone could imagine. I've always been sticking with the idea that the quantum computer is the door opener for the full power of an artificial intelligence. I still believe that. But the most advanced artificial intelligence are actually very interesting because they allow to do whatever. It's very common nowadays for copywriters to have as a personal assistant an AI that allows to write the copy by giving the right input. So they become pretty much specialized, in that area, giving the right input to the AI in order to get the right output and optimize the conversion on their platforms. AI is not only that; it's also now allows to change voice of people, and that is actually scary in some direction. But when it comes to media and images, it's also very interesting because there are a whole new artworks that can be created just by prompting the right information to an AI. When all this technology will come together, then something big will happen, and the world will definitely change according to this. So in the upcoming 18 months, I see this as one of the most important technologies taking on the market.
I want to go back, zoom out a bit to why you're moving to the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
I know you covered this. I just want to focus on a few things here. Do you see big market potential? I mean, you can work in any country in the world. You already have international customers. You have a great reputation online. Why did you decide to take the next step here?
Another reason is that, and it's a very important one, is that I think everything here talks about quality. The citizens are in demand of quality services, IT services. And lasting dynamics is the natural match, the natural response to this kind of demand. And the business model of lasting dynamics is completely different from all the other IT companies. We do not focus on having thousands of projects. We literally carefully select a few projects per year and try to implement them at the highest standard possible according to our capacity and the skills. In that direction, I see that we can serve a lot of customers in the UAE that are in demand of this kind of quality and the level of attention, tailored service around their needs.
Gotcha. And if you were to give an entrepreneur, a freelancer, a software developer, a full stack software developer at a younger age, 10 years younger than you today, what advice or actionable tips you would give?
Okay. A game changer for me that probably could be used by other people was understanding some key concept of the software engineering that are an evergreen. They never expire, like the software architectures and the design pattern. That is the very start to build professional services in this industry. No matter the coding language, no matter the technology, those change very fast. Every 3-6 months we have new challenges, new technologies that become better and better than the previous one. But what keeps staying is the very common concepts of the software engineering that can be applied at 360 degrees. You would wonder how some people that apply for joining Lasting Dynamics do not understand a simple client-server interaction or what is a composition paradigm, or they confuse it with object-oriented programming, or eventually how they do not have a very strong focus on defining the boilerplate initially before starting to code, how they want to structure the code, how they want to start. So I would suggest everyone that is approaching the software engineering and the software development to start from these fundamentals. It's important. You build it now, you use it forever. And then later I would look into some innovative technologies, something that they cannot use immediately in the upcoming 8 months or 12 months to build some freelancing skills, but something that potentially they can invest time into to accrue some knowledge that could be spent in 2 years eventually, okay, or in 1 year and a half. That is already more interesting than that. Then I would say that for entrepreneurs, I would suggest to never focus on the profit, never.
Never.
I still don't do that. After 12, 14 years, I still don't do that. Why? Because the only way you can succeed in this industry is to understand what it is about and have a strong passion. For me, it would be impossible to be a neuroscientist without having a very strong passion inside. So if you have a passion and you want to convert into a job, into a profession, and eventually be an entrepreneur, probably your driver, your ambition should not be the money, should not be the profit. That helps creating an ecosystem where things grow, where the profit is actually reinvested into the whole group to keep growing. And then what happens after is that, of course, the profit will come.
Right, right. So good passion, dedication, persistency, eventually the profits will come. So I have a question.
Yes.
So you're Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Do you cook?
Yes, I do. Quite a lot. It's one of my passions. At least 3 times per week, I would say, and weekend is a must. Saturday lunch for me is always at home with me cooking something. It relaxes me a lot. I find it as one of the most creative processes possible, and I actually like to think about business and challenges while I'm doing it. But I also like to learn, and I'm a perfectionist. I love to, when I start something, I love to compete, to become better and better in that matter. And here I'm competing with myself and YouTube by learning new recipes and stuffs. But it's very.
What's one dish that we can one day hopefully try? That you can cook?
I love aubergines, eggplants. I use them with the pasta, with parmigiana. That is a South Italian dish, very famous one. And but I usually like also to go into fish courses and other stuff, so that can that belong to the Napolitan tradition, to the South Italy culture.
Well, Michele, thank you so much for joining us today on Actionable and for your actionable advice. I'm sure that our listeners will be looking forward to seeing how your expansion is going for Lasting Dynamics in the UAE. Wish you all the best of luck, and we're happy to have you as a partner with us. We look forward to further success, further big achievements from you. Thank you so much for
Thank you very
us
much
today.
for having here, Michael. It is an honor for me to be here and to be part of this podcast.